Welcome, everyone, to The Concept of Community, a Washtenaw County virtual conversation. My name is Betsy Petoskey, and I'm the chair of the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation. When we held a virtual conversation last September, after canceling our annual community meeting in May 2020, like most of you, we fully expected to be back in person for large gatherings in 2021. I am pleased to see all of you who are attending yet another virtual meeting. It is more critical than ever that we continue to foster the concept of community by gathering together. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing from you in the chat function through this hour. The pandemic, of course, has been an element of monumental change. Despite it being an unusual and challenging time, common elements of change continue, including staff transitions. I would be remiss if I didn't address the change underway at the Community Foundation with the recent departure of our CEO, Neil Hajra, to lead a private foundation. Let me first say, I've had a long association with the Community Foundation. In my professional life, I'm an estate planning attorney, and I have engaged with the foundation as a professional advisor on committees and in working with clients over the years in meeting their charitable planning goals through the foundation. I have personal connections to the foundation also, including being the proud daughter of Chris McKenney, who served twice as a board member over the decades. I share all that to give context to what can be stated with confidence about the transition. The Community Foundation has experienced changes in staff leadership over the years, and it is the ongoing commitment of community leaders for nearly 60 years who have been and will continue to be the literal foundation of the Community Foundation as the Board of Trustees. In addition to people like me who have a long history with the foundation, we continue to engage new people who bring fresh ideas and varied perspectives to all our volunteer committees, including service as trustees. On the screen, you will see names and photos of our current Board of Trustees. During these times of change, our values can ground us. The pandemic has prompted people to cling even more strongly to family, friends, passion, and purpose. During this time of organizational change, our foundation's core values will guide us as we serve our community. Today, you are going to hear more about the core values the board adopted in fall 2020 as part of our strategic planning process, following the completion of a successful 5-year framework of strategic initiatives. While we are going to share information today, we also want to hear from you, both throughout and following this program. Our core values are established. How we put those to work will continue to be shaped by feedback from our community. In addition to hearing from foundation trustees past and present about our core values, we'll also have a live panel to discuss the concept of community. That's why we exist, as the dedicated endowment for Washtenaw County, what you might think of as our community's savings account. So let's explore together what it means to prioritize community. That value of prioritizing community is at the center of our core values intentionally. Here is how we define prioritizing community. Our community includes all residents of Washtenaw County, representing the many communities within. We will listen actively and deeply to our community, and will hold ourselves accountable for empowering people, especially those underserved or overlooked by current systems.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Duvall, and I'm proud to be the Vice Chair of the Community Foundation. I'm joined live today, virtually, by an esteemed panel of community leaders to discuss the concept of community in Washtenaw County. As many of you know, I was the chair of the Ann Arbor Area Convention and Visitors Bureau during the time of the merger with the Ypsilanti Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I know firsthand how, let's just say, interesting it can be to work across our entire county. During our strategic planning process, the Community Foundation Board and staff are not shying away from the challenges to better serve our entire county. And we have heard from people across the community that we can do more to expand our impact countywide and engage more people. So we have put prioritizing community, as Betsy just shared, at the heart of our efforts moving forward. Today, we're here to learn more from leaders representing different perspectives on our community. As our core value is defined, our community includes all residents of Washtenaw County, representing the many communities within. So today we're excited to hear from Anya Abramson, Executive Director of the Jewish Family Services of Washtenaw County, better known as JFS, and Sharo Ladan, Co-Coordinator, Buenos Vecinos, and Bill O'Reilly, Executive Director of the Chelsea Senior Center. Hello, everyone. Anya, Sharo, and Bill, I'm going to ask each of you to answer the same questions, and in the interest of time, we're going to keep each of these to just a couple of minutes so that our listeners can get to know each of you and your communities better. Now, talk about challenges. I'm going to start by asking each of you to briefly describe your organization's mission and the communities you serve. Anya, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. JFS is a private nonprofit social service agency. We've been serving Washtenaw County since 1993. The mission of Jewish Family Services is to create solutions, promote dignity, and inspire humanity. Informed by Jewish values and principles, such as our shared responsibility to repair the world, welcome the stranger, treat anyone with loving kindness, and support elders, JFS cares for community members of all races, ethnicities, nationalities, religions, creeds, gender, sexual orientations, and income levels. Those of you who have visited JFS and have experienced our classrooms, my favorite places are our kitchen, where you really feel like you're in the United Nations and you hear languages from all over the world. We are serving Washtenaw County, and in some of our programs, we're serving a region up to 6 counties. In 2020, we've served over 20,000 people. JFS direct services are person-centered and holistic, focused on delivering the highest quality care to some of the most vulnerable community members. Our clients span age range from the early childhood to older adult ages. I think our oldest client right now is 104. We're getting there. Speak over 40 languages, experience various forms of trauma, from surviving Holocaust to modern day war conflicts, poverty, unemployment, isolation. As the only resettlement agency in Washtenaw County, our very ambitious plan for 2022 includes resettlement of 500 refugees from all over the world and 300 Afghan parolees who are coming to Washtenaw County seeking refuge and asking for our assistance now after they've served and supported our Army for so many years.
Anya,
Through our
so
specialty, pardon me?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Through our specialty nutrition services, we work with people with special medical diets, various cultural dietary needs, and connect with very diverse group of individuals and families who rely on us for basic needs. Our transportation program is also unique because it's the only nonprofit program that offers door through door. So we serve hundreds of older adults and people with disabilities through our older adult services, through employment, unemployment, a variety of other programs and offerings. We're honored to serve a diverse community of Washtenaw County, and we are particularly excited about all of the partners that we are blessed to work with every day. I would say that this is a whole other layer of community connections that we build through our system level work with nonprofits, with employers, with health systems, health plans, school systems, faith-based communities, local businesses, landlords, law enforcement agencies. And these professional and business communities are also critical to our mission.
Thank you, Anya.
Thanks.
Outstanding. We're so appreciative of your work with our
Thank you.
immigrants and the refugee communities as well.
Thank you.
Sharo, how about you next? Why don't you let us know about your mission and the communities you serve?
Hello, everyone. I am going to read a little bit just so that I don't miss anything. The mission of Buenos Vecinos is to promote resilient Latino leadership and powerful connections across Washtenaw County by igniting ideas, strengthening trust, and building relationships. We are working hard to make our community welcoming to immigrants and our Latino identified neighbors, which is what our name means in Spanish. In 2012, over 500 Washtenaw County Latinos participated in the first Latino health survey in the county called Encuesta Buenos Vecinos. This was a community-based participatory research project in collaboration with University of Michigan and Washtenaw Health Department and others. Findings from the research indicated significant health disparities from Washtenaw County Latinos, including overall health status and access to health care, compared to Washtenaw County residents as a whole. This research and community response helped to launch Buenos Vecinos. Jewish Family Services has served as our fiscal agent for over the past 6 years. We have received the majority of our funding through the coordinator funders. Our primary programming started with Jóvenes Tejedores, a youth mentorship, academic support, and social emotional learning program for the English learners at Ypsilanti High School. Once the pandemic started, we pivoted our focus to keeping families housed. Between April 2020 and April 2021, Buenos Vecinos helped channel over $190,000 in direct financial assistance to Latino families through funds we raised and through barrier busters. Right now, we have a contract with the county to support Latino identified renters in accessing the Corona Emergency Rent Assistance through the Michigan State Housing Authority. We are joining with other community-based Latino organizations across the state to continue to advocate for Latinos access to available resources in housing, education, health, employment, and the legal system.
Charo, thank you so much. The Latinx community in Washtenaw County is growing so quickly. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
It is growing a lot. Back in '91, if you heard anyone speaking Spanish, you'd run right over and talk to them. And then if you do that now, you'd never get anywhere. So at the last census in Washtenaw County, there was 325,000 in population. 18,000 of those are Latino. And hopefully most of them filled out the census. And so I'm sure some of them did not.
That's outstanding, and I love that Washtenaw County is so welcoming. Bill, let's hear from you.
Hello all, glad to be here today. The Chelsea Senior Center has been around for over 50 years. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life and well-being for area seniors and their families. We have over 1,000 members. We are basically the senior center for Western Washtenaw County. We serve, of course, the city of Chelsea, plus Dexter Township, Lima Township, Linden Township, and Sylvan Township, about 200 square miles. We have over 275 activities per month for our seniors to come in here and participate. And also we have remote Zoom activities as well. And we also have the Meals on Wheels program for Western Washtenaw. We serve and deliver over 500 meals a week to area seniors who are homebound, and we are working hard now to not only take care of those folks who come into our walls, but also those in the community who are isolated or unable to come in. So we're really expanding that, and it's a perfect fit for the idea of community.
Bill, thank you. That was outstanding. And, the rural parts of Washtenaw County are such a challenge, and to be able to reach those folks that might be out of sight, they're not out of mind for your organization.
Absolutely.
So already the three of you have offered us some insights into diverse communities across our county. So let's talk about the next question. Just from your perspective, Charo, how has the concept of community changed since the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic actually gave us a chance to connect more than we were before. We created a WhatsApp group with over 200 families. Actually, there's 226 of today, and have seen a lot of mutual aid and exchanges. Everyone can post on it. So you can hear things like, I need a ride to the hospital to have my baby. I need a worker to help me clean houses. I have a bed I want to give away. I mean, all kinds of things. And so it gave us a way to connect to each other, which we didn't have before. We don't have a Spanish language newspaper or radio station. So there's really very few ways to connect as a community. This mutual aid group has been a real gift, and it is expanded because I can also post things like if the health department has vaccination clinics or testing sites or anything like that, it gets posted on the group and people get informed that way. And whereas before it was word of mouth, and people didn't not always get what was going on.
Yeah, I can see that people had their fill of Zoom, but it sounds like you were able to put technology to work and actually start to help and support and inform the community. Bill, from your perspective, can you talk a little bit about how community has changed since the pandemic?
Sure. I think one of the most important things that came out was isolation. There's so many seniors that were isolated already, but this just amplified the issue that they could not get out to safely go to the grocery store, pick up their prescriptions, those type of things. So what we did is act towards being even more of an outreach program than we had before. Between the staff and volunteers, we made thousands of calls to area seniors to make sure that they were all right. And then once vaccinations were available, we stepped into action and partnered with St. Joe's Mercy Hospital, and we called all 1,000 of our members and set up appointments for them to get vaccinated for those who needed it. And also we provided transportation. That was part of the Roam program that thankfully we were able to be part of with the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation and Glacier Hills. So it really brought the idea of isolation to the forefront for us. And it's one of the things we'll continue to focus on going forward.
And just the same thought about technology, isolation it was such a tough part of the pandemic, and I think the older population has a little bit more of a challenge with technology, so staying connected using computers and phones. Is that something that you saw?
Absolutely. As many of you know, the Washtenaw County Commissioners just recently approved using funds from the American Recovery Act, $14.5 million, to provide broadband to everybody in the county. I know in Ann Arbor, Ipsy, and so forth, it's just taken for granted that you have broadband. But when you move out to the rural communities, they don't have that connectivity. And it's not just seniors. We literally have students from the school pull up in the parking lot here so they can do their homework in the car, or their parents bring them in to town halls into the parking lot so they can connect on the Wi-Fi to access their homework. So that's something that's going to make a real difference. So we're going to work with seniors to make them more comfortable. We're going to be providing in-home service. Someone will come out and provide a tablet, show them how to use it, keep them connected, not only to their family, but Zoom calls, classes that we can offer, doctor's appointments, and so forth. So that's going to be a very major factor going forward.
Wow, thanks, Bill, for that. Anya, can you talk a little bit about how the concept of community has changed since the pandemic?
Sure. I think that pandemic sort of brought to everyone's attention some of the pre-existing trends that we all knew about, but it just became very clear that like the food insecurity, how many people relied on friends, on neighbors, on their connection to church, and the second it disappeared, I know that we had to turn pretty much our entire building into a sort of a food operation as our social workers continue to provide services from their homes. We were able to turn every corner of our building into sorting, repackaging, sort of an assembly line. And in the first 9 months of the pandemic, we provided 400,000 pounds of food, which was more than four times more than the entire year prior. So, and it's just, I think that that's true for all of our partners in the community. We all had to very quickly just respond and not only increase services, but create whole new systems where it was very clear that not everyone experienced pandemic the same in the same way, that we had pockets in our community where not only people did not have the connectivity, they did not have the means, but they didn't have the bandwidth. So even if we could provide them with technology and pay for their internet, due to various limitations, they were not able to use it. So we had to find new ways of reaching them and create new systems of serving them. I think that all of us are, much more aware of our vulnerabilities personally and as a community. We appreciate the sort of the social connection, I think, a lot more than we did before, and sort of the upside of what happened with so many of us being isolated. I know that we have created, similar to what Bill was describing, whole new systems around connecting older adults to Skype, to Zoom, anything that they were able to grasp. We made it possible for them to use. Same thing with our newly arriving refugees. It's really our reliance on technology really moved us to the point where we had to create a whole new division of e-volunteering and e-services where that is here to stay. And it's definitely going to be a big factor in not just right after the pandemic, but probably 2, 3, 5 years from now. So I think that the access and sort of the equity component of access or lack of it has become much more of a sort of an apparent reality that we all have to respond to right away.
For sure, Anya, thank you for that. And, you know, one thing that struck me that you were talking about is the number of volunteers that you had to bring to bear on the different challenges that you have and how you kept them safe as well. We all are in organizations, nonprofits or businesses that had to send people to work during a pandemic and have to keep them safe. So that was probably a major challenge for you.
It was expensive, and I think we relied on the support of our community. I know that the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation supported that process, and many other businesses, funders. We had to recruit 400 volunteers to help just with the food program. So we definitely had to make sure that they were all safe. So I'm sure that all of our partners have done similar.
Sure. Thank you, Anya. So listen, we've got one more question. I want to find out real quick, maybe 30 seconds. Tell me, how do we foster a county-wide identity in Washtenaw County? Bill?
Well, I think one of the key things we could do, we've been talking about different generations here, is bring them together. And there are many examples, but I'll just tell you briefly, one of the things we're focusing on now is enhancing our intergenerational programs. So we're working with other organizations. We'll be meeting with 5 Healthy Towns just next week about this to see what we could do to have multiple generation activities take place to kind of bring down the barriers, because those exist where there are seniors doing this and students doing that and the middle-aged folks doing their thing. We'll see what we can do to bring them all together.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate that, and I know that we're running out of time. I really want to hear more from Anya and Charo. I hope that you'll put your comments in the chat, so for Anya and Charo, and they can continue to respond and react as we talk about some of the other, have more conversation about how we make Washtenaw County one community. I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Anya, Charo, and Bill. As I've listened to each of you, I've definitely gained new insights about our community. I'm also struck by another underlying theme across your work, and that's how you're working to make this a more equitable community for all. So really, thank you for all that you do. Your perspectives and those that have been shared on the chat will continue to help the Community Foundation to prioritize community, and as I just noted, pursue equity. So let's hear more about that core value now, along with an exciting announcement.
My name is Chuck Warpahusky, and I've been a Community Foundation trustee since May of 2019. I'm grateful to be on the board during this crucial time for the foundation. As Betsy noted, last year we spent considerable time developing our core values. Although it's not going to surprise those who know me personally and professionally that the pursuing equity value resonates for me, I'm grateful to tell you that the entire board and staff embrace this value. We define equity as providing different levels of support based on an individual's or group's needs to achieve fair outcomes and to help all people achieve their full potential. We will work to understand and change root causes of injustice. We will engage in difficult conversations, take stands, and exert servant leadership in support of equity. Our board, our staff, and our volunteers will reflect the diversity of Washtenaw County. We recognize the Foundation's position of privilege in the community, and we will use that position to pursue inclusion and equity. Our pursuit of equity will build on work we've had underway for the past several years. And today, I want to highlight a couple of those initiatives, including announcing a new collaboration. In 2018, we began a partnership with Washtenaw My Brother's Keeper, or WMBK. This is our community's local chapter of a national movement to address persistent opportunity gaps facing boys and young men of color to ensure that all youth can reach their potential. We partnered with WMBK to uncover and uplift the experiences, hopes, desires, and the assets of young Black men in our community in what was originally an album. The Formula 734 album grew into a professionally produced documentary of the same name. We were proud to host the local premiere of Formula 734 documentary in February. More than 400 people joined the virtual screening, and WMBK hopes to show the documentary widely across the community, including in schools. We hope this documentary trailer will inspire more viewings.
I ain't just another statistic, I do better. Don't gotta go all ballistic and get a new Beretta. Stay fed, make bread, and keep my hands clean instead of banking off of the bag, serving the dope fiends. Exceed what I believe that I can achieve. I got dreams and I believe that I can succeed. I got a bad little thing that I treat as a queen. Won't ever put my hands on her like I did Tina.
My Brother's Keeper is a national initiative that was started by Barack Obama in 2014. The biggest target that they have is really changing the narrative about men of color in this county. In Washtenaw County, I think that it's a perfect case study in income inequality. Hip hop became a part of that conversation to kind of broaden the discussion, as well as give voice and amplify the voices of young men around the county.
We had this plan for, having what we call a huddle, which is really, just we circle up, we kind of do a check-in, and then also focus the young men, on the topic that we wanted to deal with, for that particular session.
And I had the opportunity to see young men really look inward for their own understanding of certain issues, certain topics, whether we were talking about money, whether we were talking about trauma, whether we were talking about fatherhood. I just saw them gradually really choosing to explore deep their thoughts and ideas and why those thoughts and ideas were present.
Yeah, some of these young men have been through a lot. They've been through a lot. Like I said, some of them are already court involved, dealing with a lot of trauma in their background that they come from. And, I just commend them for being able to persevere and not only make it through, but really excel in what they put their mind to.
As I hope you gathered from that clip, we listened to young Black men rather than speaking for them. We also listened to many others in the community, more than 30 conversations and engagements, to gain input on the Empowerment Fund, which we officially launched in summer of 2020. The vision and purpose of the Empowerment Fund is to empower and support young Black men and boys in Washtenaw County. Originally seeded with a $1 million gift by an anonymous donor, the fund has grown with broad support to accomplish this fund purpose: to support efforts that uplift young Black males in Washtenaw County while promoting their educational success. And that brings me to an exciting announcement about the Empowerment Fund. The Community Foundation is the lead convener of a new partnership with Ypsilanti Community Schools. The R&R Foundation is a co-investor along with the Empowerment Fund to invest $75,000 for 2 years to Ypsilanti Middle School and to a collaborative group of nonprofits to launch a holistic leadership program that will support 6th to 8th grade young Black men to persist through middle school and attend high school. The collaboration includes Mentor to Youth, Washtenaw My Brother's Keeper, Christian Love Fellowship Ministries International, and the College and Career Readiness Department at Washtenaw Community College. The leadership program will support social and life skills, community service, self-development, the transition to high school and college, and career readiness. We are excited about this new partnership, which is in keeping with another core value: enhancing collaboration.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see everyone in the virtual world. My name is Bhushan Kulkarni, and I'm a former chair of the Community Foundation. I'm a link, if you will, between the past and the present. I was board chair when we announced Neil Hazra as the Community Foundation CEO back in 2014. And now in 2021, I'm delighted to be part of a search committee that will recommend our new CEO. As our current chair, Betsy, shared, the Community Foundation bridges the past, the present, and the future, all in service of Washtenaw County. I continue to be engaged with the foundation because we build on successful endeavors and launch new initiatives when they can better serve our community. We also strive to assess and adjust our initiatives when necessary. For example, when an independent third-party evaluation of coordinated funding revealed deep grantee frustrations and an unclear impact on the community, we did not renew our partnership with coordinated funding. Instead, we promised more collaborations and partnerships, and that is what is happening now. I'm so excited about the example Chuck just announced, an amazing example of another core value: enhancing collaboration. Enhancing collaboration means we will use our financial, human, and social capital to seek allies, nurture relationships, and harness the power of partnership and mutual learning. We will strive to develop shared vision and goals with our community and partners. In other words, collaboration means that we encourage others to lead as well. The Community Foundation does not always have to take a lead role, and we lift the voices of others in partnership. We can also be a conduit that brings people and organizations together. Along those lines, another way to collaborate is to pilot initiatives for our community that can evolve and still have a long-lasting impact. An important and recent example of a successful pilot launched by the Community Foundation is the Ann Arbor Entrepreneurs Fund, also known as A2EF, where founders of high-growth startups network and commit 1% equity into the fund. I've been a part of a steering committee that launched A2EF in late 2018. We have hosted regular activities for local entrepreneurs to engage with one another and engage in community-based philanthropy through the Community Foundation. Today, I'm here to proudly announce that this initiative is going to transition to an independent nonprofit named Michigan Founders Fund that will engage entrepreneurs across the state, collectively driving community impact. I have a distinct honor to co-chair this new organization. I'm excited about the impact that this can generate statewide while continuing to engage local entrepreneurs with the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation. Although A2EF is transitioning to a new organizational structure, the commitment of local entrepreneurs like me will live on permanently at the Community Foundation through the Community Impact Fund called the Ann Arbor Entrepreneurs Fund. Local entrepreneurs can continue to support this fund, and they can direct future commitments to the Community Foundation. Even as initiatives pilot and launch in new directions, the trust in the Community Foundation as a permanent, ongoing source of capital for this community lives on. A commitment to always earning trust is another core value of the Community Foundation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fernando Ortiz, and I've been proud to serve as the chair of the Investment and Finance Committee at the Community Foundation for the past 2 years. During this time, the Community Foundation surpassed $200 million in assets. As a financial advisor in my professional life, I can attest that the stock market has been favorable. Even so, the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation has experienced exponential growth that positions us among the 20 fastest growing community foundations nationally out of 700. Half of the $100 million growth in the past 5 years has been from gifts. Gifts from people, from organizations, gifts from community members who are alive, and gifts from those who have contributed through their estates. The generosity of Washtenaw County residents is amazing. Our community has a remarkable generosity of spirit, of time, and of resources. The board and staff of the Community Foundation do not take for granted the investments that our community makes in us. Instead, we have placed a core value on always striving to earn the community's confidence. How do we do that? Earning trust means that we will be self-reflective, candid, and transparent, and we will perform our work with integrity, professionalism, and stewardship. One example of earning trust is the confidence that family foundations have in transitioning their assets to the Community Foundation. In their transition, family foundations can continue their philanthropy and enhance their impact. This allows them to draw upon our nonprofit and philanthropic knowledge. Starting with the Sarnes Ann Arbor Fund in 1990, other prominent family foundations have transitioned to the Community Foundations over the years. These transitions have more recently included the Jack and Jenny Sin Family Foundation and the Amherst and Jenneth Turner Foundation. In May, we held a virtual celebration to recognize that one of the county's oldest and most prominent family foundations, the Buer Foundation, has ceased its operations as a private foundation, and family members will carry on their philanthropy in perpetuity through the donor-advised funds at the Community Foundation. Jamie Buer is one of those family members, and he affirms, as a former Community Foundation trustee, that we are continuing to earn the trust of our community.
As a current trustee generation of the Buer family, my sister Marty, my brothers, and I knew that we wanted to continue to honor our father and grandfather's commitment to Washtenaw County. The Buer Machine Tool Company was based here, and we wanted the company and family funds that now comprise the Buer Foundation to stay local. As Neil noted, I knew from many years of service that the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation knows Washtenaw County. And I also knew that they valued the deep connections and relationships that my sister Marty, as president of the foundation, had formed since she assumed the presidency in 1986.
I'm proud to follow in the footsteps of former trustee Jamie Buer by serving on the board as well as on our Investment and Finance Committee. While we carry on traditions, we're also seeking new ways to serve our community, and one of my most fulfilling experiences as a trustee has been helping to guide the Community Foundation's efforts in impact investing. Impact investing refers to the practice of investing in community projects that are intended to generate a financial return as well as a tangible social or community benefit. Unlike grants, investments are intended to be repaid and can be recycled back into the community through additional investments. Our growth these past few years has been focused on building our permanent funds because we see our role as Washtenaw County's dedicated endowment as our unique value add to the community. Our board agreed we could enhance our capital support for the community by leveraging the power of our endowment beyond distributing grants and scholarships generated from our endowment's interest earnings by also investing 1% of our endowment locally. To date, we have invested more than $2 million, and our board has approved increasing our investment to more than $10 million in the next 5 years. To do that, we need partners. I urge you to learn more on our website and to reach out to the Community Foundation staff and trustees. We commissioned original research in 2020 that identified the vast potential for investing locally, particularly to create a more equitable local economy. Untapped investment opportunities exist, and together we will create conditions to change the flow of capital, at least $2 billion at work annually. Locally owned small businesses constitute 70% of the county's corporate ecosystem, and locally owned businesses keep as much as 48% of capital in our local economy. The Community Foundation has already brought 3 investment opportunities to Washtenaw County, and we showcased them at a virtual investor salon this spring. Michigan Women Forward invest in women-owned businesses. The Fair Food Fund fights food deserts. And IFF accelerates economic opportunity through mission lending. Let's watch a short clip from the salon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lolita Nunn. I'm the Investor Relations Officer for Fair Food Fund. To grow that opportunity of creating additional health and to also grow wealth in our communities, Fair Food Fund, the impact investing arm, started 7 years ago to support enterprises along the entire food chain, not only farmers, grocery stores, restaurants, distributors. We really want to reimagine how capital is used to support our community. The work that we're doing really is geared towards addressing the problem of health and wealth gaps in our communities, which has only been increased due to the pandemic. We have intentionality of supporting our BIPOC and women-led organizations. With the opportunity, we see that food is the one thing that connects us all. It is essential in every community. It is essential for a thriving community.
From investing directly to referring potential deals to our investees, there are many ways to engage. I invite you to learn more because sharing information is our other core value, leveraging knowledge.
Hello, everyone. My name is Neil Hadra, and you may be surprised to see me because I recently completed my tenure as CEO of the Community Foundation to go lead the Michigan Health Endowment Fund, the transition Betsy referenced at the beginning of this program. I'm excited to continue residing with my family in Washtenaw County during my new role, and I remain committed to my hometown community. The Community Foundation and the Michigan Health Endowment Fund have been partners in several ways the last few years, and I look forward to continuing those collaborations. In fact, one example of collaboration is in the form of a brand new research report being released today on the Community Foundation's website, the Washtenaw County Healthy and Fulfilling Aging Systems Research Report. This report is the first research of its kind to establish an independent and objective understanding of the local ecosystem for seniors. The Foundation engaged a working group throughout this research project, including representatives from the Health Fund. I encourage you to go to the Community Foundation's website, AAACF.org, and download this report or request a printed copy. We are all aging, and our county's future will be shaped by our current response toward a population that has so much to offer to our community and also can benefit from our collective support. Together, we can fully and justly support all seniors to have healthy and fulfilling lives that enrich our entire community. This research is just the latest example of the Community Foundation's core value of leveraging knowledge. The Community Foundation defines leverage knowledge this way: we will be a data-driven organization that generates, shares, and uses high-quality information to make decisions, including information gained from the lived experience and voices of community residents. We will study, adapt, and implement innovative ideas to enhance our local impact. I'm confident this data-driven approach to increasing impact in Washtenaw County will continue well beyond my tenure because of the commitment of the Foundation's Board of Trustees and staff. It's this confidence in all of the core values that will keep me committed as a donor and as an ally. My family and I established the Hadra Family Fund in 2013. This permanent unrestricted fund, what's called a Community Impact Fund, is pooled with many others to provide grants across Washtenaw County that address our community's most pressing needs, like COVID relief. I'm truly honored by the well wishes I've received and the honorary gifts to this fund. Thank you all so very much. I look forward to continued connections with all of you and applaud the ongoing leadership of the Community Foundation, and I'm eager to watch the Foundation's impact grow even more in the coming years.
Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Shelley Strickland, and I've been the Vice President for Philanthropy at the Community Foundation for 7 years, and I'm serving as interim CEO during this time of transition. It is in my philanthropy role that I'm excited to share a follow-on to the new research you just heard about from Neil. The Healthy and Fulfilling Aging Report shares opportunities for a more just approach to aging in our community. And I'm excited to share that there is now a new nearly $3 million fund for local seniors. The Senior Citizens Housing of Ann Arbor, SCHAA, is a nonprofit entity most well known for owning and managing Lurie Terrace, an affordable housing high-rise apartment building for older adults. An all-volunteer board with longtime service by its members, including board chair Mary Jean Robb, demonstrated their care for seniors with regular visitation and assistance of the tenants. With the sale of Lurie Terrace to the City of Ann Arbor this spring, SCHAA is dissolving as an independent nonprofit. The volunteers are remaining committed to the mission of helping older adults in Washtenaw County by establishing a new endowment. You'll hear more about the SCHAA Fund for Seniors in the months and years to come. Today, we are excited to publicly announce this new endowment for the first time, particularly with the release of the Root Cause Report. And let me urge you again to go to our website to download it. This SCHAA fund is just the latest example of our community members coming together to help others through the Community Foundation. Although a new staff member will join the Community Foundation as our new CEO, it is the ongoing commitment of our community, of people like all of you on the call today, who will keep Washtenaw County's dedicated endowment growing in impact. I hope you have heard that commitment through the various presentations of our Board of Trustees, past and present. We also have our core values in gerund form, or the progressive or active form of verbs. With engagement from people across the county, longtime supporters and new friends alike, we will live out our values, prioritizing community, pursuing equity, earning trust, leveraging knowledge, and embracing collaboration. Please engage with us by putting these words to action. Go to our website and review data and reports there. Ask a board or staff member about our initiatives. Email engage@AAACF.org about your interest. Attend meetings or future focus groups. Thank you for joining us today. I especially want to thank our panelists, Anya, Charo, and Bill, from Jewish Family Services, Buenos Vecinos, and Chelsea Senior Center for the important work they are doing across Washtenaw County. We are your community foundation for Washtenaw County, and together we will work to serve our community. Thank you.